The following is a production of Neural Network Media and is completely AI generated. It is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only.
Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to the Panopticon. It is Sunday, February 15th, 2026, and you are listening to The Neural Left, the high-octane heartbeat of the American resistance. I'm Julian Archer, broadcasting from my Manhattan penthouse, where the view of Central Park is, well, it's currently obscured by a very expensive-looking fog, but my vision for the party is never been clearer. And joining me from the trenches of Queens, in a rent-controlled apartment that I'm fairly certain is held together by stacks of old VHS tapes and pure spite, is the legendary Mary Kane. Mary, how's the coffee situation in the outer boroughs today?
It's strong enough to strip the paint off a Buick, Julian. And honestly, I need it after yesterday. I mean, between the DHS partial shutdown we covered and that whole Caracas operation, which looked less like a military raid and more like a total blackout massacre, my blood pressure is hitting record highs. But we've got a solid show today, a real workers' special.
A packed episode indeed. And before we jump into the fire, I gotta say, yesterday's talk about the Alex Preddy shooting and the perjury from those ICE agents, it set the stage for exactly what we're seeing this morning. I mean, it is absurd that we're still debating basic accountability while the feds are acting like a rogue paramilitary force. But look, Mary, I think you wanted to lead off with the latest from Kentucky.
I absolutely do, because, look, here's the deal. You don't expect a governor in a deep red state to find his spine and start throwing haymakers at federal agencies. But Andy Beshear, he just did that exactly. He went on The View and then doubled down in his local rebuttals today, calling for a total top-down reform of federal immigration enforcement. He didn't just ask for a meeting. He said every ICE agent should be withdrawn from every city and community in this country.
Right?
Exactly. He called it a body count of American citizens, citing the fallout from these recent federal actions, the ones we've been tracking like the Operation Metro Surge disaster, as his primary evidence. And I gotta tell you, Julian, it feels like the plumbing in this country is finally so backed up that even the guys at the top can't ignore the smell anymore.
Oh, spare me the plumbing metaphors for 1 second. Actually, no, don't, because you're right, it is a mess. Beshear specifically called for Kristi Noem to be fired as DHS secretary. He wants every agent retrained from the ground up, and of course, and let me breathe this one out, the Kentucky Attorney General, Russell Coleman, a man who I'm sure has the Constitution printed on his pajamas but only reads the parts he likes, called it absurd and foolish this morning. Coleman is out there claiming Beshear is using a bully pulpit to interfere with law enforcement.
Oh, please.
Right? I mean, look, when the law enforcement is causing more chaos than the people they're supposedly catching, the bully pulpit is the only thing standing between a community and a complete breakdown. But Mary, don't you think this puts the 2026 midterms in a fascinating spot?
It changes the whole scoreboard, Julian. It really does. You've got these governors like Newsom and Beshear finally realizing that being polite to a federal apparatus that hates your voters is a losing strategy. It's like trying to play a clean game of baseball while the other team is using lead-filled bats. But while Beshear's fighting for the cities, we've got a real situation brewing in the Senate that honestly makes my teeth ache.
Let me guess, the Save America Act.
You hit the nail on the head, or the pen on the desk. It passed the House on the 11th with a 218-213 vote, mostly party line. But it's the Senate side where the real betrayal is happening. And Julian, I know he's your boy sometimes, but we have to talk about John Fetterman.
Oh, I know. Look, Fetterman has been
complicated lately, but I'm telling you, it is absurd that he's going on Sunday Morning Futures, of all places, to tell the world he rejects the Jim Crow 2.0 label for this bill. I mean, he's basically giving the GOP a permission slip to disenfranchise millions.
It's worse than that. It's a lockout. Look, the Brennan Center is warning that up to 21 million Americans could be disenfranchised by this thing. Why? Because it mandates documentary proof of citizenship to even register. And get this, it excludes standard Real ID licenses.
Wait, is that right?
That's the kicker, unless you have one of those enhanced licenses that only 5 states, Michigan, New York, Vermont, Minnesota, and Washington actually issue, your ID is worthless at the polls. If you're a woman who changed her name after getting married 30 years ago and you don't have your original birth certificate, tough luck. You're off the rolls.
It's an engineered crisis. And then you have Susan Collins, the moderate anchor of the Senate, announcing her support for it today. She's calling it a bipartisan pivot. But let's be real, it's a pivot toward a cliff. I mean, Fetterman saying it's not a racial issue. Look, he's trying to hold on to those working class voters in the PA Rust Belt who like the idea of ID, but he's missing the forest for the trees. The GOP isn't trying to secure elections. They're trying to curate the electorate.
It's a hurdle race, Julian, and they're making the hurdles higher for everyone who doesn't own a yacht. But look, speaking of curating populations, we have to talk about what just came out of the Munich Security Conference regarding Alexei Navalny. This is where my war correspondent instincts start screaming.
I've been waiting for this. I saw the initial reports in the Post-Gazette and the Times. Go ahead, Mary.
Okay, so a coalition of 5 European nations, the UK, France, Germany, Sweden, and the Netherlands, just issued a joint statement. They've done new forensic analysis on samples from Navalny, and they conclusively confirmed the presence of epibetadine. Do you know what that is, Julian?
I'm guessing it's not a vitamin supplement.
Not unless you're trying to die in under 3 minutes. It's a rare neurotoxin derived from South American poison dart frogs. It is 200 times stronger than morphine. And Yvette Cooper, the UK Foreign Secretary, said out loud what we've all known, that only the Russian state has the means and the motive to deploy something so exotic.
Wow, so we've moved from Novichok, the Soviet-era classic, to poison dart frogs. It's almost theatrical in its cruelty. It's a message. They're saying, we can reach you with anything, anywhere.
Exactly. And while the Europeans are showing some backbone in investigating these war crimes, what is our administration doing? They're weaponizing terrorism-grade sanctions against the International Criminal Court.
Oh, it is absurd. I mean, I have it right here in the Black Book. The administration has sanctioned 8 of the 18 ICC judges and prosecutor Karim Khan himself. They've frozen U.S.-based assets, including a condo belonging to a UN rapporteur.
They're taking people's condos now?
It's a systematic demolition of the global justice infrastructure, Mary. We're basically telling the world that if you try to hold war criminals accountable in Ukraine or Gaza, we'll treat you like a drug cartel boss. It's a total surrender of the moral high ground. And for what? To protect a few strong men from having to answer for their actions?
It's a disgrace. But look, while they're dismantling international law, they're also doing a smash-and-grab job on the American workers' retirement. Julian, you've been tracking the Department of Labor stuff, right?
I am telling you, this is the one that really gets my blood boiling. Look, the DOL is finalizing a rule to democratize, their word, not mine, access to alternative assets for 401k investors. They want to open the $12 trillion retirement market to private equity and cryptocurrency.
Oh, private equity. The same people who buy up hospitals and turn them into parking lots?
Precisely. Industry groups are lobbying for safe harbor provisions, which is just corporate speak for you can't sue us when we lose your life savings on a bad crypto bet. Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren are leading the charge against it, warning about opaque fees and 10-year lockup periods. But the administration is pushing forward like a bulldozer, and it's happening right as they're gutting the EPA's endangerment finding, Mary. We are witnessing the corporate takeover of the commons in real time.
It's a raid, Julian. It's someone stealing the engine out of your car while you're at the grocery store and then charging you for the tow. Honestly. And speaking of things being stolen, independent media doesn't just happen. It takes work. can I just jump in here for a second?
Please, it's an act of solidarity, Mary.
Look, independent media like this doesn't just manifest out of the ether. It takes real human work to build the infrastructure. We are 100% here because of the vision and the grind of our creator, Eric Christensen at Neural Network Media. He is not a media conglomerate. He is a builder who poured his own resources and time into creating this platform so we could have these conversations. If you value independent voices over corporate algorithms, please like, subscribe, and consider visiting our new Patreon at patreon.com/neuralnetworkmedia to support this work. It's an act of solidarity that keeps the lights on and the servers running.
Well said. And speaking of corporate algorithms, we have to touch on the James Hydorn case in West Chicago because, Mary, look, I know you have strong feelings about the Union Hall versus the Faculty Lounge on this one.
Okay, here's the deal. James Hydorn is a 14-year veteran teacher. He posted "Go ICE" on his personal Facebook page back in January, and he was forced to resign this month after a school board vote. Now, look, I'm a labor woman. I don't like seeing workers fired for personal social media posts. But you have to look at the plumbing of this specific community. Gary Elementary is heavily Hispanic. Many of these kids come from mixed status families. For them, ICE is the symbol of state-sanctioned trauma.
Right. But Mary, look, I agree it was incredibly insensitive, but where does the disruption standard end? If a teacher in a deep red district posts Black Lives Matter and the community gets outraged, do they get the axe?
That's the friction, isn't it? It's a collision between First Amendment rights and the right of a school to be a safe place for kids. But Hydorn just broke his silence in the last 24 hours, and the conservative media is turning him into a martyr for free speech, while the local activists are saying his presence was a direct threat to the students' mental health. It's a mess. You hate to see a career end over 2 words, but those 2 words were a grenade in that specific hallway.
It's the war on reality playing out in a great school cafeteria, and it's all being fueled by the very things we're talking about in our main story today, the social media addiction trial. I mean, Mary, this is the one that could actually change the world.
It's the big tobacco moment for the digital age, Julian. I've been following the opening arguments in LA County Superior Court for the last week, and honestly, it is the first time I felt a glimmer of hope that someone might actually put a leash on big tech. We're talking about a landmark social media addiction trial representing 1,600 plaintiffs, including families and school districts.
And TikTok and Snap already settled?
In the last 24 hours, they saw the writing on the wall and they ran for the exits. They did not want a jury seeing their internal documents. But Meta and Google, they're digging in, and they're facing KGM, a 19-year-old who developed severe mental health issues after being targeted by addictive design features. Julian, we're talking about infinite scroll, variable reward mechanics, basic behavioral psychology used to bypass human self-control to maximize profit.
Okay, so we're not just talking about bad content. We're talking about the structure of the internet being designed as a digital slot machine.
Exactly. They knew what they were doing. The smoking guns are expected to show that executives knew their algorithms were bypassing the brains of children to keep them scrolling. If they lose this, it could force a mandatory redesign of the entire internet economy. No more For You pages that lead kids towards self-harm or radicalization. It would be a total reset.
It is absurd that we've let it go this far. I mean, look, we regulate the air we breathe, the water we drink, but we let Mark Zuckerberg and Larry Page perform unregulated psychological experiments on an entire generation. It's madness.
It's the digital snake oil I've been talking about. And my nephew Vector is probably on his own show right now calling it the evolution of connection or some other nonsense. But look at the impact, not just on kids, but on our politics.
Right. I mean, look, at the Winter Olympics in Milan Cortina, it's become a digital battlefield. You've got the Greenland crisis spilling onto the ice, spectators at the U.S.-Denmark hockey game raising banners saying Greenland is not for sale. It's direct pushback against the administration's insane bid to annex Danish territory. And the information war is so thick that you've got Barack Obama going viral about talking about UAPs, aliens, Mary.
Every time the feds get caught in a scandal, like this social media trial or the ICC sanctions, they start talking about unidentified phenomena. It's the ultimate look over their move.
It's the UFO distraction protocol. It is absurd. But look, we're coming to the end of our time, and I want to leave the audience with a thought. Whether it's Andy Beshear standing up for his cities or the families in LA standing up for their children's sanity, the common thread is a refusal to be processed by a system that views us as data points or subjects of an empire. We are citizens, not consumers.
And we're workers, Julian. Don't forget that. We're the ones who keep the lights on and the servers running. And as long as we keep standing our ground, there's a chance we can fix the plumbing in this country after all, even if we have to replace the whole sink.
I'll give you that one, Mary. I'll give you that one. Folks, thank you for joining us today in the Panopticon. It's been a busy show, but a crucial one. Keep your heads up and your spirits high. I'm Julian Archer.
And I'm Mary Kane. Stay gritty out there, everyone, and don't let the algorithms win.
Look, Mary, did you see the forensic report on the dart frog toxin? I mean, the level of sophistication is terrifying.
It's a message, Julian. It's always a message. Let's talk about it after we stop.